Have you ever stood still in a moment so heavy it felt like the world itself paused? And in that silence, you caught a glimpse of yourself, perhaps in a mirror, a fleeting reflection in a window, or even in the quiet of your own mind, and felt something inside you break. Not a subtle crack, but a profound, soul-deep fracture, as if the very core of who you were has splintered into countless fragments, scattered across the ground like the remnants of a shattered vase swept away by a storm. You kneel among the pieces, hands trembling, trying to gather them, to fit them back together, to reclaim the person you once were. But the edges are too sharp, the shapes too unfamiliar, and no matter how hard you try, they refuse to align. You wonder if this is the end, if this is the moment where you lose yourself forever, where the you that once laughed freely, dreamed boldly, and loved deeply becomes nothing more than a memory. If you've ever felt this, let me reach across the void and tell you something that you need to hold onto with every fiber of your being. You are not alone. Every single one of us, at some point in our lives, breaks. Life doesn't send a polite invitation or a gentle warning. It doesn't check if you're ready or if you have the strength to endure. It just happens, swift, unrelenting, and without mercy. But here's the truth that will anchor you through the darkest nights and the heaviest days. Being broken is not the end of your story. It's not a verdict or a final chapter. It's the beginning of something new, something stronger, something more beautiful than you can possibly imagine in this moment of despair. The human spirit is not fragile like glass, destined to remain in pieces once it's cracked. No, we are forged from something far more enduring: resilience, grit, and an unyielding fire that burns even when the world feels like it's collapsing around us. When you're broken, it's easy to believe that the pain defines you, that the cracks make you less, that you're somehow diminished by the weight of what you've been through. But that's a lie, a cruel deception whispered by a mind that's exhausted and afraid. Your brokenness is not a flaw, it's a testament to your survival. It's proof that you've faced the chaos of life, the betrayals, the failures, the losses, the moments that tore you apart, and you are still here. Still breathing, still standing, even if your knees are shaking and your heart is heavy. That breath in your lungs? It's not just air, it's power, it's possibility, it's the raw, pulsating spark of your comeback, waiting to ignite into a flame that no darkness can extinguish. Think about it. Every time life has knocked you down, every time you felt like you couldn't possibly go on, you've found a way to keep moving. Maybe it wasn't graceful, maybe it was through tears that burned your cheeks, through fists clenched so tightly your nails left marks, through nights spent staring at the ceiling, wondering how you'd summon the strength to face another dawn. But you did. You're still here. That's not weakness, that's strength. It's the kind of strength that doesn't shout or demand attention. It's quiet, steady, unshakable. It lives in the choice to get up one more time, to take one more step, to whisper to yourself, "I'm not done yet," even when every part of you wants to surrender. And you're not done. Your story is still being written. And you are the one holding the pen, the one shaping the next page, the next chapter, the next triumph. There's a Japanese art form called kintsugi, a practice as profound as it is beautiful. When a piece of pottery breaks, the artist doesn't discard it or try to glue it back into its original form, hiding the damage. Instead, they mend it with gold, filling the cracks with shimmering veins of precious metal. The result is a piece that's not just repaired but transformed, more valuable, more beautiful, more unique because of its brokenness. The cracks aren't a source of shame, they're a story, a map of survival, a celebration of resilience. Your life is like that pottery. Every crack, every scar, every moment of pain you've endured is a part of your story, not of destruction, but of endurance, of courage, of transformation. Those moments when you thought you couldn't go on, when you felt like the weight of the world would crush you, they're the gold in your story. The proof that you've lived through something real and come out stronger. You are not less because of your pain, you are more. You are a masterpiece in progress. And every fracture is part of the beauty that's unfolding. A beauty that's uniquely yours. Rebuilding yourself is not a simple task. It's not a straight path lined with clear signposts or a quick fix that comes with a manual. It's a journey, a winding, unpredictable odyssey that demands you dig deep, face the parts of yourself you'd rather bury, and make choices that scare you to your core. It starts with a single decision, a quiet, trembling moment where you choose to believe that your story isn't over. That there's still something worth fighting for. That you are worth fighting for. You don't need to know how it all ends. You don't need a detailed map, a 5-year plan, or anyone's permission. You just need to take the first step. That step might be small. So small it feels insignificant. Getting out of bed when your heart feels like it's made of lead. Writing down one thing you're grateful for in a world that feels ungrateful. Or simply saying to yourself, I'm going to try again, even when your voice shakes. That's where it begins. That's where the fire inside you, the one that's been smoldering beneath the ashes, starts to flicker, ready to grow into a blaze that lights your way. Your mind is a powerful thing, a storyteller that shapes your reality. It believes the narratives you feed it, the words you repeat in the quiet of your own thoughts. If you keep telling yourself that you're broken, that you're not enough, that you're destined to fail, your brain will carve those words into your reality. It will guide your thoughts, your actions, your life toward that narrative, building walls where there should be doors. But what happens if you change the story? What happens if you start telling yourself that your pain is not the end, but the beginning? That your brokenness is not a weakness, but an opportunity to become something greater, wiser, more powerful? That's when everything shifts. That's when you start to see yourself not as a victim of your circumstances, but as the architect of your future, the one who decides what comes next, the one who builds something new from the rubble. You don't have to be perfect to rebuild. You don't have to have it all figured out, every question answered, every doubt erased. You just have to start. Start with one small action, one tiny choice that moves you forward, even if it's just an inch. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for a mistake you've carried like a stone in your chest, a weight that's grown heavier with every passing day. Maybe it's letting go of a grudge that's been poisoning your heart, tainting every moment of joy with its bitterness. Maybe it's choosing to believe, even for a fleeting moment, that you are worthy of happiness, of love, of a life that feels full and vibrant. These small steps are the bricks you use to build a new foundation. One that's stronger because it's built on truth, on experience, on the lessons you've earned through pain, through struggle, through survival. Pain is not your enemy, though it often feels like it is. It's your teacher, your guide, your catalyst. It's not here to destroy you, but to wake you up, to demand your attention, to show you where something needs to change. Pain reveals what matters most. Who you really are when the masks are stripped away. What you're capable of when everything else falls apart. When you run from pain. When you numb it with distractions or bury it beneath a facade. You give it power. It festers, grows, controls you from the shadows, whispering lies that keep you small. But when you face it, when you look it in the eye and say, you don't own me, that's when you take your power back. That's when you start to heal. Healing doesn't mean the pain disappears or the scars vanish, leaving you as you were before. It means you learn to carry them differently. You learn to see them as part of your story, not the whole of it. You learn to use them as fuel, as reminders of what you've survived and what you're capable of achieving. Your mistakes don't define you. They're not who you are. They're moments, choices, things that happen in a specific time and place, under specific circumstances. But they are not the final word on your life. Too many people carry their regrets like chains, letting shame and guilt dictate their every move, their every thought. They walk through life wearing their mistakes like a second skin, believing they're unworthy of redemption, of joy, of a second chance. But you were not born to live in chains. You were born to grow, to evolve, to become more than you were yesterday. Every mistake is a lesson, a chance to discover what doesn't work, a stepping stone to something better. The only real failure is refusing to try again. The only real loss is staying stuck, letting guilt and shame rob you of the life you could have. While the world moves forward without you, think about the people who've inspired you, the ones whose stories have moved you to tears or lit a spark in your chest, the ones who've risen from nothing, poverty, addiction, betrayal, loss, to achieve greatness, to live fully, to love deeply. They weren't born different. They weren't immune to pain or failure. They were just like you, human, flawed, and sometimes so broken they thought they'd never be whole again. But they made a choice. They decided that their pain wouldn't be the end of them. They decided to keep going, to learn from their mistakes, to rebuild themselves piece by piece. And that decision changed everything. You have that same power. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, or someone else's approval. You don't need anyone else to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself. Even a little, even for a moment, that's enough to start. Rock bottom is a terrifying place. A barren landscape where hope feels like a distant memory. But it's also sacred, a holy ground where illusions are stripped away, and you see yourself clearly for the first time. It's where you realize what truly matters: love, connection, purpose, and what you need to let go of: fear, resentment, the need for control. When you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere left to fall. The only direction is up, and from that place, you can build something real, something lasting, something that won't crumble the next time life gets hard. Because this time, you're not building on fleeting hopes or fragile dreams. You're building on truth, on the raw, unfiltered reality of who you are and what you've been through. You're building on the lessons you've earned the hard way, the strength you've forged in the fire of adversity. You already have everything you need to rise. You don't need permission from the world, validation from others, or a perfect plan laid out before you. The strength you're searching for isn't out there, waiting for someone to hand it to you like a gift. It's inside you, buried beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and pain, but still alive, still burning, still waiting for you to claim it. You've survived things that could have destroyed you, heartbreak that felt like it would stop your pulse, failures that made you question your worth, losses that left you hollow. You've carried burdens no one else could see, weights that would have crushed others. You've kept going when every fiber of your being screamed for you to quit. That is power. That is proof that you are capable of more than you know, more than you give yourself credit for. Change doesn't happen in a single, dramatic moment, though we often wish it would. It's not a lightning bolt that splits the sky or a sudden epiphany that solves everything. It's a series of small, quiet choices, repeated day after day, moment after moment. It's getting up when you don't want to, when the weight of your own thoughts feels like it's pinning you to the bed. It's choosing hope over despair, action over inaction, courage over fear. It's replacing one negative thought with a positive one destructive habit with a better one moment of weakness with a moment of strength. These small steps don't feel like much in the moment. They don't come with fanfare or applause, but they add up. They build momentum. They create a life you never thought possible. A life that's richer, fuller, more authentic because it's built on the choices you made when no one was watching. The process of rebuilding is where the real magic happens. It's not about the end goal, the moment of success, the finish line where everyone cheers. It's about who you become along the way, the person you shape through every challenge you face, every setback you overcome, every small victory you claim. The journey is the reward, not the destination. When you focus on the process, when you embrace the grind, the messy, imperfect, sometimes painful work of becoming, you stop chasing something outside yourself and start building something within. You start to see that the real success is not what you achieve, but who you become in the pursuit of it. You become someone who knows their own strength, who trusts their own resilience, who believes in their own worth. And that is a victory no one can take away. You can't control everything in life. You can't control what others think of you, what they say, what they do. You can't control the twists of fate, the unexpected losses, the sudden betrayals, the moments that upend everything you thought you knew. But you can control how you respond. You can choose to stay calm in the chaos, to find meaning in the pain, to keep moving forward no matter what. When you let go of the need to control the uncontrollable, you free yourself from the chains of frustration and despair. You stop fighting against the current of life and start flowing with it. You become adaptable, resilient, at peace with the uncertainty that is an inevitable part of being human. And in that freedom, you find the strength to rise again and again, no matter how many times you fall. Your journey is yours alone. Stop comparing it to anyone else's. Your path is unique, shaped by your experiences, your struggles, your dreams, your heart. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be valid. It doesn't have to follow the same timeline or hit the same milestones to be meaningful. The world loves to measure success in loud, visible ways: money, fame, accolades. But your success is not defined by those things. It's defined by the quiet moments when you choose to keep going, by the lessons you learn, by the person you become. Every step you take is progress. Every choice you make to keep fighting is a victory. Every moment you choose to believe in yourself, even when it's hard, is a step toward the life you're meant to live. Let's talk about the moments when your mind becomes your own worst enemy. Those late nights when the world is asleep, but your thoughts are a storm, replaying every mistake, every regret, every what if, like a broken record that won't stop. It's exhausting, the way your brain picks at old wounds, convincing you that you're not enough, that you'll never be enough, that you're doomed to repeat the same cycles forever. But those thoughts are not the truth. They're just stories, narratives your mind has woven from fear and fatigue. You don't have to believe every thought that crosses your mind. You don't have to let them control you. You can choose which ones to hold onto and which ones to let go. That's where your power lies, in your ability to choose the story you tell yourself. Rewriting your story isn't about pretending the pain didn't happen. It's not about denying the hurt, the mistakes, or the losses. It's about refusing to let them have the final say. It's about saying, yes, I've been through hard things, but I am more than my hardships. I am more than my failures. I am the person who keeps going, who keeps growing, who keeps rising. That choice, that shift in perspective, is what sets you free. It's what allows you to step out of the shadow of your past and into the light of your potential. It's what transforms you from someone who's been broken into someone who's being rebuilt. Stronger and wiser with every step. You don't need to have all the answers to move forward. You don't need to know exactly where you're going or how you'll get there. Life isn't a puzzle that needs to be solved before you take the first step. It's a journey, and journeys are meant to be walked, not planned to perfection. All you need is the courage to start, the willingness to keep going, and the belief that you are capable of more than you realize. That belief doesn't have to be loud or unshakable. It can be quiet, fragile, uncertain, like a candle flickering in the wind. It just has to be there, nudging you forward, whispering, you can do this, and you can. Forgiving yourself is often the hardest part. We're quick to forgive others, to offer them grace for their mistakes. But when it comes to ourselves, we become relentless judges, holding ourselves to impossible standards, punishing ourselves for things we'd never hold against someone else. But self-forgiveness is the key to moving forward. It's not about excusing your mistakes or pretending they didn't happen. It's about acknowledging them, learning from them, and then letting them go. It's about giving yourself permission to be human, to be imperfect, to be a work in progress. When you forgive yourself, you release the weight of shame and guilt that's been holding you back. You make room for growth, for healing, for hope. You allow yourself to become someone new, someone who's not defined by their past but empowered by it. Hope is a radical act. It's not naive or childish, as some might claim. It's a fierce, defiant choice to believe in the possibility of something better, even when the evidence suggests otherwise. Hope is the belief that tomorrow can be brighter than today, that you can be stronger than you are now, that your life can be more than it's been. It doesn't erase the pain or make the challenges disappear, but it gives you a reason to keep going. It's the light that guides you through the darkness, the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm. And the beautiful thing about hope is that it's always there, waiting for you to reach for it. No matter how dark things get, no matter how broken you feel, hope is never out of reach. It's a spark that lives inside you, ready to ignite at the moment you choose to believe. You are not your circumstances. You are not the labels others have placed on you: failure, quitter, broken, weak. You are not the mistakes you've made or the pain you've endured. You are the person who chooses to rise above it all. You are the person who decides to keep going, to keep growing, to keep believing in the possibility of something more. That choice is your superpower. It's what makes you unstoppable. It's what makes you human. And being human is a messy, complicated, beautiful thing. It means you have the capacity to feel deeply, to hurt deeply, and to heal deeply. It means you have the power to change, to evolve, to become someone new every single day. You are not stuck with who you were yesterday. You are not trapped by the mistakes you made or the pain you felt. You are free to choose who you want to be today, tomorrow, and every day after that. That freedom can be terrifying. It's easier to stay in the familiar, even if it's painful, than to step into the unknown. But the unknown is where growth happens. It's where you discover what you're truly capable of. It's where you find the strength you didn't know you had, the courage you didn't know you possessed, the resilience that's been inside you all along. The unknown is not your enemy, it's your opportunity. It's the canvas on which you paint the next chapter of your life. A chapter that can be bold, vibrant, and entirely your own. So what do you do when you're standing at the edge of the unknown? Staring into a future that feels uncertain and vast? You take a deep breath, and you take a step. You don't need to see the whole path. You don't need to know where it leads. You just need to trust that each step will bring you closer to where you're meant to be. And with every step, you'll grow stronger. You'll learn more about yourself, who you are, what you value, what you're capable of. You'll realize that the person you're becoming is someone worth knowing, someone worth fighting for, someone worth loving. The world will try to tell you who you are. It will try to box you in, to label you, to limit you. It will tell you that you're too broken, too flawed, too late to start over. But you don't have to listen. You get to decide who you are. You get to write your own story. And that story doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be free of pain or mistakes. It just has to be yours. It has to reflect the truth of who you are and who you want to be. It has to be a story of resilience, of growth, of rising again and again. No matter how many times you fall, you are stronger than you know. You've already proven it, time and time again. Every time you faced a challenge and kept going. Every time you felt like giving up but didn't. Every time you've chosen to believe in yourself even when it was hard. That's strength. That's power. That's the fire inside you that no one can extinguish. And that fire is what will carry you through the hardest moments, the darkest nights, the most uncertain times. It's what will light your way when the path ahead feels impossible. Life is not a race. It's not a competition. It's a journey. And every journey is unique. Yours doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be valid. It doesn't have to follow the same timeline or hit the same milestones. What matters is that you keep moving forward, at your own pace, in your own way. Every step you take is progress. Every choice you make to keep going is a victory. Every moment you choose to believe in yourself is a step toward the life you're meant to live. And that life is not defined by what the world sees. It's defined by what you feel, what you learn, what you become. You are still here. That's the most important thing. As long as you're breathing, there's hope, there's possibility, there's a chance to change, to grow, to rebuild. Your past doesn't have the power to define your future unless you let it. Your mistakes don't have the power to define your worth unless you give it to them. Your pain doesn't have the power to define your potential unless you allow it to. You are in control. You are the one who decides what comes next. You are the one who shapes the story that's still unfolding. So decide to rise. Decide to rebuild. Decide to believe in yourself. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Because you are worth it. Your life is worth it. Your dreams are worth it. Your happiness is worth it. You are still here, and that means your story is still being written. Make it a story of courage, of resilience, of transformation. Make it a story that inspires others. That reminds them that they, too, can rise from the ashes of their brokenness. That they, too, can rebuild themselves into something stronger, wiser, more beautiful. You are not alone in this. The world is full of people who have felt what you feel, who have faced what you face, who have stood where you stand. They've been broken, just like you. They've doubted themselves, just like you. And they've risen, just as you will. You are part of a human tapestry, woven together by shared struggles and shared triumphs, by the universal truth that being human means falling and getting back up, breaking and rebuilding, hurting and healing. You are not different. You are not less. You are human. And being human means you have the power to keep going, to keep growing, to keep becoming. Take a moment to breathe. Feel the air filling your lungs, the steady rhythm of your heart, the life that still flows through you, vibrant and unyielding. That's your starting point. That's your foundation. From here, anything is possible. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be ready. You just have to be willing to try, willing to believe, willing to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next. Each step will bring you closer to the person you're meant to be, the life you're meant to live, the story you're meant to tell. You are enough, right now, exactly as you are. You are enough. You don't need to be more. Do more. or prove more to be worthy. You are worthy simply because you exist, because you are here, because you are human. Let that truth sink into your bones. Let it guide you through the moments of doubt. Let it remind you that no matter what happens, no matter how hard it gets, you are enough, and you always will be. Your journey is just beginning. The road ahead may be long. It may be hard. It may be filled with twists and turns you can't yet see. But it is yours, and it is worth walking. So take the first step. Take it with courage, with hope, with the knowledge that you are stronger than you know. You are not broken forever. You are not defined by your pain. You are a work in progress, a masterpiece in the making, a story still being written. And the best chapters, the ones filled with triumph, with joy, with love, are yet to come. Keep going, keep rising, keep becoming. The world is waiting to see the masterpiece you'll create.